Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Ejean Pemberton of PJ Education Group. That's right, that's the name of my company. And typically, I do videos to encourage and to share best practices for my GED scholars. But this video is not for you. It's not for that. Okay, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not for you because you're gonna probably become one of my doctoral scholars as well. So that's a good thing. But this particular video and the series of videos that I'm going to do is going to focus on helping my colleagues get to the finish line of their doctoral program. I just recently finished and defended my dissertation on March the 27th, 2024. I will forever remember that date. I feel like somebody who is going through a pledging process, but I will forever remember that date. One, because it is also my mother's birthday, March the 27th. She turned 80 years old. And so for her 80th birthday, her oldest daughter defended her dissertation. So I'm excited to give her that gift. And she will be at my graduation ceremony, which is going to be in a couple of days. So I'm really excited about that. And so I earned my doctoral degree at Southern Methodist University. I was in the Simmons School of Education and Human Development, and the program was the Doctoral of Liberal Studies. And so I actually enrolled in this program in the year of 2017. It has been long. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. So if you are in your fourth, fifth, sixth year, I did 7. Okay, I did 7. I did more than I expected, but I got to the finish line. So I just want to share and encourage you to please don't stop, get to the finish line. But I am going to give you through a few of my videos some of the pitfalls that I experienced, some of the things that I learned, and some recommendations on how to avoid some unnecessary pitfalls. There are going to be some challenges that you're going to experience. That's a part of the doctoral program. You have to earn your stripes to get that degree. And so, but if I can share with you some things that can help you along the way, I will be excited to know that my video did some help and was an encouragement to you. All right, so what this video is an introduction, a little bit of introduction, and I'm going to provide a few tips about the beginnings of getting into a dissertation program. So, and then if you are down the road, I'm going to talk a doctoral program. I said dissertation program, a doctoral program. And if you're already like in the ABD status, all but dissertation, I'm going to give tips on that side of the fence as well. So I'm going to try to do in my videos tips for both sides of the fence, the doctoral journey in the beginning stages before you get to the dissertation stage. So I'll try to do both, and then I'll give tips on the spectrum of dissertation preparation. All right. So why did I go for a doctoral program? It is not my first doctoral program that I went for, and I have many degrees. I actually have degrees mostly in ministry, and that's because I accepted my call to preach. And when I accepted my call to preach, when I was about 30 to 34 years old, my father, my biological father, and my father ministry both encouraged me to go to school. So, shout out to my father ministry, Dr. Haynes, and my biological father. He's no longer here; he passed away, but this is for him as well. So all the degrees that I get, I try to give love to both my fathers and my mother. My father and mother was together until my father passed away. So my mother is my shero. She is my only shero in my life. So much love to them. But they encouraged me when I accepted my call to preach to go to school because they both knew the importance of me having a structure in my studying and the responsibility that it came with being a preacher. And so I am glad that they made the decision. And so I did go and get my degrees in ministry. And like I said, I have quite a few degrees in ministry. And in preparing and going to school and going to seminary, I was able to develop good study habits, which was important because when I was a high school student, my study habits were not the best at all. And I did graduate from high school. I did go to college and had the college experience, let me say, but I did not finish doing my college experience. I was yes, I was having a lot of fun. I had a lot of kid and play. But as I got older and, got more mature, and again, when I accepted my call to preach, I did go back to school and finish and earn my bachelor's degree and then continue to move forward with earning additional degrees. Um, and then as a business owner, I decided, well, actually, let me go backwards. I earned a couple of degrees, and during that time period, I was in education. I got into education and as an educator, and then became an academic dean. And I also had an opportunity to be a campus president. And so I did education, academic dean, campus president from the year 2009 to 2017. Yeah, right at the beginning of me starting this doctoral program. And I also had my own business. And so I decided to go and enroll in an MBA program. I actually started at the school that I was academic dean, an MBA program, because I felt like as an academic dean and having my own business, I needed to understand the business side of education, the business side of running a business. And at the time, my school was being paid for, so I did enroll in an MBA program. But then I transferred over and uh, enrolled into an MBA program at Prairie View A&M University. So I am a graduate of that Panther land. And so, as we say, PV, yes. So HBCU experience I had as a graduate student, and was part of cohort 3 for the EMBA, Executive MBA program. And so I love my colleagues to death. My classmates, we are tight for life, you know what I'm saying? And we went through a lot of great experiences. As a matter of fact, when I completed that degree, thanks to one of my professors, uh, I was able to co-publish a journal, a paper in a journal, which has received a lot of hits and have been used with other researchers. So I'm so grateful to Dr. Bell, who encouraged us to do that. And so I did earn my MBA, and then I decided to further my education and get a study for another doctorate, and which is what I just recently finished. And I did that because, again, um, I was in the business of education. I was in the business of entrepreneurship, and I wanted to have a balance of education and knowledge. And I just felt it was really important for me to go and continue my education. So I did apply for this degree. When I first applied to be enrolled in this degree, believe it or not, I was declined. I was denied. I received a denial letter saying that I was not accepted into the program. That was very disheartening. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't understand because I was a good scholar. I had gotten all the kid and play out of me, and I had a really good referral, but I was denied. And but then I received a phone call like maybe 30 days later, and there was a slot open, and I was asked if I would be interested and being part of the program. And I was excited about that and decided to go forth and do so. So I did enroll in the program with cohort number 3 again with my classmates, and it was a very good experience. I chose this program because it was a cohort program. I chose this program because it allowed me the flexibility on my research, and so it did not disappoint in those 2 areas, and in other areas as well. So it was a very good choice. It was a good decision, and I'm glad I made that decision. So I say that to say to you, if you are deciding to go and earn your doctoral degree, make sure that it is something that you want to do. Make sure that it is something that's going to benefit you in your future, because you're going to need that to carry you through the process, because the process is, is grilling. But if you have uh, the right, motive behind getting a doctorate degree, earning a doctorate degree, then that motive will carry you to the finish line. So that's what carried me to the finish line. And that's what helped me to make my decision to get started. And once I start something, I'm not a quitter. I'm going to finish. I'm going to do my best to finish. Now, there's some times where you just have to throw up the towel and walk out. But for education, all the time, energy, and money that you put into it, you definitely want to finish what you started. So I just want to give a little history as to why I made a decision, because some people ask, why did you decide to get your doctorate degree over in this area when you have all of this going on with ministry, with your education? And that was my reasoning behind getting my doctoral degree at Southern Methodist. The other reason was because I wanted to further my opportunities in education. I want to work at a university, and hopefully I'll be able to do a video on that. But I did have experience working for Dallas County Community Colleges as an adjunct teacher, a professor, and so I wanted to continue down that pathway. And I knew that the degree that I have would help me uh, get through certain doors that the ministry degrees would not be able to do so. So it's a balance of both. Ministry, I have degrees in education and the experience, and so I'm able to, flex in that area of my life. And then I have the education experience and the experience and education in the field of education. So I'm able to navigate in both of those worlds, and that's something that I wanted to be able to do. So I'm glad I went um, down that pathway. So now let me talk a little bit about the beginning stages of working towards your doctoral degree. The first thing, once I was accepted, we went through an orientation, which I believe you should always attend if they offer an orientation, because orientation program introduces you to the program, sets the stage for expectations as a scholar. You get a chance to meet some of the staff, the faculty, which I think is a great idea. And sometimes there are alumni members from the program that are there that can share with you some of the experiences. And you can, just take some of the things that they shared and use that to your advantage. Listen to what they're sharing with you, and they may provide you with some great insights that will be helpful for you along the way. So I did attend the orientation, and then class began in the fall. And again, the great thing about being part of a cohort is that you guys are taking the classes together. Each class, you're walking through that journey together. And so there's a little bit of difference with the master's program versus the doctoral program, because with the master's program, it's all of the classes are set in stone, and you're just taking one class behind the other, one class after the next. So everybody's, pretty much succinct together, and you start together, you finish together, unless, someone has to, have a delay and then they have to join a different cohort. But pretty much who you start with, that's who you finish with. The doctoral program is a little different because, well, the traditional doctoral program, you don't really have it. It's not really cohort based, but with the cohort based, you all start together and you take your core classes, which can be about between 6 to 9 classes, or maybe 12 classes. I can't remember how many we did, but anyway, you start off at the very beginning together, and then you take your electives, which would differ. They would be different. And they would be different because now your focus of research is going to be different, and you should take core classes that's going to benefit you as a researcher for your subject. So the thing that I want to really encourage is that when you are, go towards your doctoral degree, is know what your subject is going to be about. Have some idea. Don't be so tight on the subject, because you're going to actually hone in on it as you get closer towards your dissertation and perspectives and all that those types of things. But you definitely want to have an idea, because you're going to need to start building up your literature review, which is a huge chapter in your dissertation. And it will be really beneficial if you can start working on your literature review, like within the second year of your doctoral program, to start developing, different resources, periodicals and peer review articles and stuff like that. Start building your literature review, because if you don't start that in the stages prior to preparing for dissertation, it's going to be very challenging for you when you get into your dissertation phase. Somebody shared that with me, so that was not my Achilles heel, is a literature review. I actually started building and developing my literature review during my core classes and even my electives, so that by the time I got into dissertation phase, I had a really good, solid literature review to start with, and then build upon for my dissertation. So that's one recommendation that I do have for you, is as you begin to develop your idea of what your research is going to be, start building your literature review. I'm going to tell you, it's a huge benefit. It will be a huge benefit for you when you get to dissertation phase. The second thing that I want to share with you, and again, I'm going to be sharing a lot of different things of dissertation, but the second thing I want to share with you is if they provide a methodology class, you definitely want to take a methodology class before you get ready to go into dissertation phase, so that you can know or understand the process of methodology. I did take a methodology class. I think the cohort prior to us did not, it wasn't required, but it was offered to us as an elective for our cohort. And I'm so glad I decided to take the class. The professor who taught the class was very good. It was amazing. And it turned out to be extremely beneficial to me when I got into my dissertation phase. And so methodology is another Achilles heel that can, uh, create difficulties for you if you're not, um, if you don't know anything about it. And I went into this program not really knowing all of the different methods. I've been introduced to the methods, different methods, but because this was a different type of program, it wasn't ministry based. I had to learn some new methods and understand what that looked like and which method was going to be best for me. So my method was actually a mixed method. I didn't do uh, qualitative, which is typically what you do in ministry. I did not do quantitative either. I did a mixed method research, and I had a really good team on my committee members that was very helpful in providing me guidance so that I could successfully provide a good dissertation paper using a mixed methods program. But I want to say I had an incredible professor, Dr. Diggs, who was really, really good with sharing with us resources, literature, and even having us go through different exercises to develop like a chapter 3, which is your methodology of your research paper. So I want to encourage you to please, you definitely want to learn as much as you can. And I know I've had some people that come to me and ask me about methodology, a methods class, and be kind of lost in the sauce because it can be confusing. It can be difficult. There are some good videos out there that talks about different methodologies. I'm probably not going to do a video because that's not my strength. That's not my area, at all. But I did watch a few videos to help me to get an understanding. I am going to do a video on chapter 3, but I'm not going to be in depth about methods itself. So, but I will say this, what helped me was the class for methodology. What also helped me was to have different methodology books. So I used quite a few. I think I had about maybe 6 to 8 different methodology books that because again, I was doing mixed methods so that I can really understand the technology that came into developing my chapter 3 and using my mixed methods to be able to, uh, gather my data and to analyze my data and to present my data through my dissertation. So those are your 2 things that I'm going to talk about prior to the dissertation phase. Number 1 is make sure that as you begin to think about your research, start developing your literature review. I'm sharing with you the sooner you can get started on your literature review, the better you can. There is an outline that I put together, and I'm going to share that in another video that was helpful for me in developing my literature review. I had to work through that process a little bit more often as I began to develop my dissertation paper, but it wasn't because of lack of the literature review. It's just a matter of organization because that was my thing. It was organizing. But I had quite a few. Uh, I had a really good, solid start to developing my literature review. So I recommend that you make sure that you get started with that as soon as possible and then learn about methods. That's going to be helpful for you as well, because that could be those are the 2 things that really sets the foundation, lays out the foundation for the rest of your dissertation page. They're not the only thing, but those are 2 critical pieces for you as you prepare for getting into your dissertation. All right, so that's the beginning parts. Of course, write your papers, read, get into the habit of reading and writing. That's going to be helpful as well. And this is kind of now transitioning into the middle stages of preparing to do your written and your oral exam. For me, that was probably my weakest area was writing. I don't know why, but it was just I needed to improve my writing, and so I would recommend you do this, and this is what I do now is and started doing to improve my writing is just started writing on if you can, a daily basis, or at least 3 to 4 times a week. You've got to get into writing, because if you don't get yourself into a rhythm of writing, that is going to be really, really tough for you to get your thoughts on paper in a timely manner. That wasn't the extreme issue for me. I just had a lot of distractions going on. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But you definitely want to get your writing skills. You know, you want to put uptick, and that you cannot be too good on your writing. You know what I'm saying? So definitely develop your writing, especially now with technology. You have the AI that's going on and just different technologies. And so your professors are going to be reading your papers, and they're going to have a certain standard and expectations to make sure that you're not using technology to write your thoughts, right? That you're not plagiarizing. And so you want to create a pattern to show that these are your thoughts. And because your writing, you should be able to communicate your writing, right? You should be able to communicate your thoughts, not just on paper, but you should be able to speak your thoughts as well. And your professor will be paying attention to determine if this is something that you wrote, or if this is something that you copied and pasted, or you had in some kind of electronic device to help you to develop your paper. So you're just going to have to be really, really careful. I saw a post recently about someone who inquired about their grade. You know, they received a low grade because the professor believed that they were using different electronic apps that was helping them with their writing skills instead of creating their own paper themselves. And so you're going to have professors that are going to be really, really particular, which is understandable, because they're going to have to put their name on your work. And so they can't pass you if they don't believe that your work is authentic and organic. So you want to make sure that you read as much as you can. I actually have a bookstore, but I created a reading habit for me where I try to read at least 1 to 2 books per week. So I try to get at least 4 books out a month, the minimum. Reading helps to improve uh, your writing skills, right? Your communication skills. And so I alternate what I read. So I don't read the same thing every week. I read like maybe I read something historical one week, something dealing with finance and entrepreneurship another week because I have my own business. Definitely every week I'm reading something theological, and then fictional. You know, let your imagination, because you need to have a good imagination as you begin to write your dissertation. But you definitely want to read also. When I was doing my dissertation, I was reading like books galore on my subject. I was like stacks. I have right now in here in my office stacks and stacks and stacks of books that I just gathered and purchased and to read on my subject, because I wanted to be an expert on my subject. So definitely you want to try to, at least if you can, read a book a week. You know, get your reading up. And if you're not able to do so, get that reading up, because that reading is going to help you with your writing. And then try to write at least 2 to 3 times, uh, 2 to 3 pages, not papers, but 2 to 3 pages, at least 2 to 3 times a week. That's going to help you with your written exam, especially if you can write on your course material that you received. I would recommend doing that, because that written exam is no joke. And when I took my written exam, during the height of COVID. So henceforth, that's one of my delays. It was, oh my God, it was overwhelming. It was emotional for me. Um, COVID happened March of 2020. I was scheduled to do my written exam in April, and they kept the schedule. We did not get a delay. They did not give us any grace. We had to do our written exams at home. We had to make sure we had the type of laptop or desktop where they can, you know, lock it, put the lock on it, and have us do our exams. for 2 days, like 6 to 8 hours. Anyway, it was extremely stressful. So I did a lot of preparation for my written exams, but COVID just knocked all of that to the left, to the left, to the left. So that was a beast. My written exam was extremely stressful, and then I did uh, move forward with my oral exams in the summer, in that July, and was able to go forward for my dissertation. So it was very, very stressful. But I think part of my success was developing my writing skills. So you definitely want to develop your writing skills. You never know. Life is lifing, right? And you do not want to be caught in the trenches unprepared because you didn't do what you needed to do. So again, if you can, read a book a week. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you don't have to get a 500-page book. Just get your book. Just get yourself developed in reading a book, especially if you can read a book in the areas that you're going to do your research or the classes that you're taking. Just get yourself really equipped with the knowledge and the information. All right, don't waste your time, right? Invest your time wisely. So that means you have to come off of social media, yes, and replace your phone with a book and read your book. Some of y'all may do the electronic books. That's fine, but have a book in your hand. It's nothing like having a book in your hand and reading a book. Okay, go old school for just a little bit. So those are the two stages, and I'm going to give a third stage. So the first stage is if you're taking your coursework, start developing your literature review, and definitely, if you can, take a methodology class and start understanding what methods is all about, because those are your chapter 2 and chapter 3. Excuse me. Of your dissertation. So definitely for that. Preparing for your written exams, start reading if you can, especially with your classes, because we had to do 2 questions. One question was on the coursework, and the other question was on preparing for our prospectus, our dissertation. So you want to make sure that you know what you need to know, everything about your coursework. Read those the material that your professor provides to you. If they give you extra books to read, if you can, go get those books. If it's costly, which it can be, go to your local library, see if they offer have those books available to you so that you can check out those books. I did that a lot because my budget is tight. I'm a teacher, so we don't get paid a lot. Um, so please go do that. Go read, and then write 2 to 3 times a week. I said 3 to 4, but 2 to 3 times a week. I think I said 3 to 4, but anyway, 2 to 3 times a week. Try to write at least 2 to 3 pages. Get your writing up. Get your writing up. Get your writing up. You're reading and you're writing. Okay, you're in a doctoral program. All right, research, reading, and writing. That's what it's about. Research, reading, and writing. If you don't want to research, read, and write, you don't need to go for a doctorate degree. Okay, that's the deal. Now, all but dissertation, ABD status. All right, so let's get on the other perspective spectrum. If you are in that status, all right, and so let me just say this: I was really good and consistent with my schedule. In 2020, 3 years after I started the program, my written exam, my oral exam, everything, it was a tough emotional, extremely emotional process, but I got through the process. My goal was to spend the next 2 years to finish my research and my dissertation. That was the goal. It took 4 additional years instead of 2 additional years because life was lifing. But I'm finished. I digress. I'm finished. So, but there were some pitfalls that I ran across that I could have approached differently, and I did not. So I'm going to share some of those things. I'm going to share 2. The first thing is making sure that you have you have good advocacy with your program and your committee. I had an excellent committee chair, Dr. Voth, and so I really appreciate him. He has always been on my team to um, get me to the finish line. So, and he helped me to do that. So he is my chair. I also had an amazing committee member, Dr. Bell, who was with me at PV and came on over and helped me to get to the finish line. So I had 2 really good people in my life that helped me along the way, but they gave me my space and they made me grow up. They didn't spoon feed me at all. It was on me, but they guided me, and their guidance was very, very helpful. My third committee member, I that was the challenge for me. And actually, I had another person who was going to chair as well, and she actually got really, really sick, and passed away. So that was tough for me. So that was one of my little hiccups. That was another unexpected circumstance that I went through. But God worked it out, and I'm able to finish. But she was extremely wonderful. She had a background in education, and she provided some wonderful feedback to help me to really focus on my research and to be able to. Uh, I had to put together an IRB package. She was very good at that, and so when I submitted my IRB, it passed with flying colors because of her. So if you're in the ABD status, I would recommend that you make sure you have people on your committee that have the background that you need to help you to get to the finish line. You definitely don't want to have people on your committee that cannot invest in you and your research. Not do your research, you have to do your own research, but you want people who have expertise in what you need, especially in areas that you may not be strong in yet, because none of us are strong in everything, and we need good, sound advice. So Dr. Volt, my chair, he is over our speech department, our communication, not communications, but speech. And so um, he also is very strong in historical background, which was what I needed for my chair. For the mixed methods program, mixed method research, I needed someone who uh, had that quantitative, strong background of quantitative uh, studies, and Dr. Bell provided that for me. And so he was very helpful. I mean, he does not play. Again, education. Dr. English was there for me, and until she passed away, and I was able to be able to add another third reader, who was so beneficial, Dr. Kenny, and I thank her so much. She came in and saved the day. There was another person I had. She started with me, but she did not finish. That was a tough call for me. She did not finish. I don't know why. Never got the reason why. And sometimes that happens. You just have to move on. People make decisions what's best for them, and you have to do what's best for you. So having a good committee is going to be important, and sometimes that can be a challenge. So make sure that you have advocacy on your committee. Have advocacy. I know I have quite a few friends that are working on their dissertation that are in non-traditional settings, whereas online is distance learning. So you definitely want to make sure that as you are working with your committee, that you have a sense of advocacy there for you. That's going to be important. And then listen to your committee members, because they're the ones that are going to have to put their name on that dotted line and sign off on your dissertation. So listen to what they're saying. They're going to give you wise counsel. You may have this mindset of what you want to do, but at the end of the day, you want to get to that finish line, and you want to finish strong, and you want to get approved, right? So as they give you ideas and recommendations, go ahead and listen to what they're sharing with you, and understand where they're coming from. And if it's something that can be implemented, go ahead and implement it. Because guess what? After you get your doctorate degree, you can do you, boo, write all the books you want to write, how you want to write it, because you don't have anybody that's, you know, paying attention to you with the fine tooth, you know, comb. So you can do all of that. Just get to the finish line. That's the key thing. So get you a good committee. That's the first thing on the ABD side. And then put you a plan of action together. Okay. Put you a plan of action together. Put your timeline together. That's what I ended up having to do to get to the finish line. I had a timeline that I had to make some adjustments. And then I just got distracted, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and we'll talk about that on another video. So I would say on the ABD side of it, get you a really good committee. That committee is going to be important because you're going to have to develop what is called a prospectus first, which means that it is a presentation of what your study is going to be, it's kind of a preliminary before you start your dissertation, and they have to approve your perspectives first before you can get started with your dissertation. So definitely have a really good committee that can help you to develop your perspectives. And I am going to share some of the things that I did with my perspectives that helped me, that was recommended to me, that helped me to get to where I needed to be, so I can get into my dissertation. All right, so that's it. Those are the 3 phases, and I don't know if I'm going to do every video as such, but I definitely wanted to get started because I didn't want to procrastinate. It's fresh on my mind, it's fresh in my heart, it's fresh on my spirit, and I want to be a blessing to others. So if you have questions, if you want to reach out to me, you can do so. My email address, my contact information is on my website, pjeducationgroup.com. From my experience, I'm going to be putting out there some really good resources along the way so that it can be, my resources can be helpful to you as you are preparing for your getting to the finish line of your doctoral program. All right. So hopefully what I've shared with you is helpful. And if you could do me a huge favor, make sure that you like this video, like this video, please like this video. Share this video with someone who you know is working on their doctoral program, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel because I am going to be posting not just video to help my GED scholars, but my colleagues who are working on their doctoral program as well. All right, stay blessed, and I look forward to dropping more videos for you. If you have something in particular that you would like for me to share, go ahead and submit to me an email, and I'll share with you what I know as it relates to this doctoral experience. All right, you guys, make it amazing and continue to write. Get yourself to the finish line. You should be dissertation. Have a good one.